What are you looking at in terms of the growth of the vegetable side for your business?
It will definitely grow, because the goodness of vegetables is that even just if you look, for example, those flats are across there, and there's 12 tenants there. Already the demand is so just from those flats around there. So because people eat vegetables lunch and dinner every day, you know what I mean? So the market is huge. Just a matter of finding more places and doing a lot of vegetables and so on and so forth. But the demand is fantastic. Yeah, my name is Ken Luo. I own Ken Luo Gardens.
Ken Luo Gardens.
Yes.
And in all fairness, actually, we should say that we've known each other for quite a while.
Yes.
How did we first meet? You want to tell everybody how we first met?
I think what happened, you passed through the other place where I was doing clay pots. That was our first interaction.
Yes.
And you bought...
That's right. I was looking for those dish pots.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then there we got... we talked and actually discovered that you even do plants. Then I paid you a visit and we did business together.
We did business until I stopped doing plants.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you're no longer at the original place that we met. You want to just tell us a bit of what you were doing here?
Yeah, I moved to here because here water is fantastic. That's a reservoir where if there's a problem with water, we always have water stored into that reservoir there.
Yeah.
The water situation is perfect.
And was that reservoir here prior to you moving to the space, or did you make it, sir?
No, it was already here. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Then, but what happened was that all those plants that we used to see, I moved them to here. But then I moved during the dry season. So during the rainy season, I discovered that actually this place floods, and I had to take all the plants back to the farm.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing now is that I'm just doing vegetables and herbs and seasonal plants.
Yes.
Yeah.
The annual plants.
The annual plants. Yeah. So grow them during the dry season. When rains come, I go for a break.
Yeah.
And then when the rains go, I again
come back.
Exactly.
Nice. What kind of really spurred on that move from doing ornamental plants into vegetables?
The reason for that, you mean?
Yes. Yeah.
The reason is that I've noticed that people want food that is grown organically.
Yes.
You know what? And I think people prefer to go and buy the vegetables from the garden, unlike from the markets.
Yeah.
Because they think that vegetables are more fresh when they're just right from the gardens, as opposed to those that are ferried from different places.
I would agree with them in that sense. If you can see it being picked, you know how fresh that is.
Exactly. I also noticed that in modern times, maybe because of the distances to the markets, they would rather they come and get their seedlings from here to go and do them in the backyards. Yeah, I think it's also, it looks to me that people think that that's a cost saving to utilize every space in their backyard to grow different varieties of vegetables for their consumption. Yeah. And another thing is that we've just started here, so we need to do it on a slow pace, so that as people get to know the place, then we start to increase on the varieties.
Okay. Yeah, no, fair enough. And Chinese is a very easy one to grow.
Exactly.
And spinach is one of my favorites because it almost has no pests whatsoever.
Exactly.
So it goes really well.
Exactly.
So how long have you been operating then from here in terms of the vegetable production?
Just in the past less than 6 months.
Oh wow! So very recently.
Very recently, yes.
All right. What are your top few lessons that you have learned in those last 6 months that you've found in terms of having vegetables versus ornamentals?
Yeah. First of all, I think the first lesson is that I'm actually even yet to learn why in one flower bed of seedlings, you have others growing better and taller than others. Up to now, I do not know. and I'm yet to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah, another thing is that I think you need to grow them according to demand.
Yes.
You do them at a small scale, and as people get in the place, then you start to increase on the production. I think those are some of the few lessons that I've learned. Yeah.
Or have you experimented with mulching the soil so that it keeps the moisture in?
No, I've not done that yet, but I'm yet to do that.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, because that might help also cut down on your needs then on the watering.
Exactly.
Especially if we have another drought year like we had last year.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, where the rains just failed at a certain point in time, and then we started worrying about water a little bit more.
Exactly.
Now, in terms of this vegetables, these are easy ones to get growing, picked and
for now,
harvest.
yes, yeah.
How? Because I see you've also got some herbs over here.
Yes.
How is?
We are also into herbs now. Like you can see, if you come around here, you'll be able to see that we have, I think, close to 17 varieties.
Nice.
Yeah.
And these you're producing at the farm and bringing here?
Yes, yeah. We are doing seedlings at the farm, then bring them here. Like you can see, we have, like this is marjoram.
Marjoram, thyme.
This is thyme. Yeah. This is Thai basil. This is chocolate mint. Peppermint, spearmint. Yeah. This is sweet basil, red basil. This is kale parsley. The other one there is flat parsley. Yeah. This is chives. This is coriander. This is wild basil. This is fennel. Yeah. This is lemongrass. This is celery, and this is dill. So yeah.
Dill is one of my favorite. But it's not grown nearly as much and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What have you found in terms of the uptake on chives for the area, or on spices then within the area as well?
It's amazing. It's amazing, and I don't know. I think because people now have become health conscious, and the market for herbs is now amazing. Yeah. And when the customers come here, they actually don't come for one plant. Yeah. They'll
buy all of them at the time.
No, not really, but they'll get every variety that you have to go and put in the backyards for different benefits. Yeah. Yeah, because these have different benefits. Yeah.
Well, and they'll go with different foods and things like that. What you might use the basil for is not what you use any of the mints for.
Exactly.
Dill will go with something completely different in that regard as well. I do like your markers.
Oh yeah. Some initiative.
And you've got somebody with very good handwriting to be doing them out at the time.
Exactly, yeah.
So I'm probably going to get 3 of each.
Okay.
So this is how you're starting your vegetable seedlings, is it?
Yes.
In a veg bed like this?
Exactly.
And then at what stage do you start to transplant these into the larger bed so that these can grow and get to the size that then you can then...
When they've gone beyond this level, when they're slightly smaller than this.
Yeah, okay.
Because, for example, the problem with, for example, Chinese cabbage is that it has a lifespan. Yeah. So when it reaches a certain span, even in a flower bed like this, then you don't even sell it to customers, because when they actually come to buy them as a seedling to go and plant, they're not going to have.
It's not going to grow very well.
Exactly, because they will have attained their later life. Yeah. So to say, yeah.
So what are you going to do with this then? Because it is, as you say, on the older side. Are you just going to dig this under? And then
no, I may have to advertise and give them away. Because every once in a while we do giveaways. Yeah. So that if we dig them and throw them away, then we are not doing a service to the community. You know what I mean? So it's better we advertise. People come and pick them up before they are too old. Yeah. Then, so that we also help the community as it were.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So now we have onions.
Seedlings. This is giant spinach. Yeah.
And we've got this almost looks like rape now. Or is this cabbage?
We call it chomolia. It looks like rape, but it's more. I think when it grows, it's more folded. I think.
Oh, like kale. Yeah. Almost like a kale or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the same as well over
That's
here.
the same as,
Okay.
as well.
So then these are getting to a point in time where you're going to be pricking them out for sale and stuff. is it?
Exactly. Like you can see, people have already started to buy.
Yes, I see in the spinach you've been digging and selling. The onions look like they're also getting very close to that point in time.
Even before they grow to the right size, people are already coming to buy. Yeah.
And then what are the prices that you're selling your seedlings at?
It's 10 kwacha per line. Okay.
What? So somebody can buy this whole line for 10 kwacha?
No. From the line is
I see.
there's a gap there. So this is a line. This is a
okay.
different line. This is a different line, and this is a different
I
line.
see.
So we are selling this line for 10 kwacha.
Oh wow, that's fantastic. And you're making money.
So it's not actually a question of making a lot of money, but it's a question of growing.
Yeah.
You learn, you grow.
Being able to develop.
Exactly. That's how it goes. Start slowly, then grow, then then get.
And that's the same for each of the different seedlings, or onions are different?
No, that for now.
Travolia is all different.
No, for now the price is the same per line.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So if somebody wants to start growing their own vegetables, what kind of advice would you provide? Initial advice to somebody who is wanting to get into doing some of their own vegetables?
Yeah. Firstly, you see, vegetable growing, just like any other plant, don't cost a lot of money. You can even start with three packets of seeds, and what you are going to grow there is a lot. And the vegetables are also very profitable.
Yeah.
From the packet of 25 kwacha, for example, this one, the cost to do all these seedlings maybe it just costed me about 30 kwacha.
For this whole bed here?
Yes. So now, if I sell these 3 lines, the 30 kwacha has come back.
Yeah. Plus then you've got a bunch more as well.
That's what people don't know.
And then in terms of maybe how to go about getting started effectively. As you said, you did ornamentals when you first started.
Exactly.
You've now switched into food.
Exactly.
What advice would you give somebody who's then doing that transition as well? Maybe a lesson that you learned the hard way and being able to tell
I think just firstly and foremost, you have to learn that you have to find money here and there. You know what I mean? But the other problem that I've noticed is that, for example, people that come here don't ever speak to me in English because they think that a person that can do this has not been to school. First of all, the first advice that people should have the mindset change.
Yeah.
When you're doing things like this, I'm not going to say mini meal is expensive because I can make money for mini meal every day.
Yeah.
And people that have been to school don't know that a person that is doing this and the person that they think can't even speak English because hasn't been to school, because that's a perception, can afford mini meal every day. So the mindset change first, because every small things that you do in life adds to the income.
And to your experience and knowing how to go about either diversifying more or which one you should concentrate on down the line.
Yeah, exactly.
So what kind of next are you looking at expanding into?
For now, I'll need to work very hard on the herbs because the inquiries are massive. Looks like there's now, like I said, because of I think health benefits, people want to go into herbs business, and like I said, people are now importing dryers that they want so that they dry the at the moment they can't find places to buy these spices as cut spices in bulk. Yeah. So my direction now is to try to do at the farm, try to do as many cut herbs at the farm as possible so that people can have somewhere to have the spices to dry and sell.
And would you contemplate getting a dryer in yourself? Because if you're also growing the herbs, you're doing fresh cut herbs, why not then also get a dryer and do then
Yeah, that would be a good.
organic dried herbs
Yeah,
as well.
that would be good because that would be like adding value to the things that I'm
Yeah,
producing.
no, definitely. I think the one
Yeah.
thing in business is always trying to maximize on each potential line that you've got there.
Exactly.
effectively.
Yeah.
How can people reach you in terms of maybe putting in an order for seedlings if they want, or to find out what seedlings you have available at the time?
Yeah.
What veg you have available at the time? How can people reach you?
Even for consultants, isn't it?
Yeah,
exactly.
Definitely. That's another line of income.
Exactly. So we are along Musutunya Road. First of all, my names are Ken Luo, like I said. Then my phone number is 0977 67 41.
41.
Yes. And we are found, this is a small outlet, but I have many other outlets like we discussed.
Yeah.
We are found along Musutunya Road, just near the most popular place here is Family Trust Hospital.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. If they get to there and call me, they would be able to reach me because
you can direct them. But I did also see as we were driving down the road, you do have a sign that says plants for sale.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. I am glad to see that you are still at least in the plant business side of it.
The pleasure of seeing you again after a while.
Yeah, no, definitely. I will be telling people who I know around the area definitely to come and support, because supporting local business is also very important.
Exactly.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Luo.